All right, cool. All right, so y'all know what it is. Weekly Facebook Live recap. We talk about how we did for the week in our trading. For those of us who are not taking trades yet, I want to hear from you with regards to how training was for you this week as well. JT says no losses this week or last week. Excellent. JT, also, where were you for Project 21? I see Jamal over there too. Jamal, how was training for you this week? How was trading for you this week? And Matthew, I know, is 0 losses. Business as usual. And who else did I see over there? Nathaniel, if you're there, how was training for you this week? And there's like a little delay on here also. What's happening, Daniel? There's a delay too, so by the time you might hear the comment, not the comment, but you hear me, like it's late. It has like a little delay depending on where you are. So I know the watch parties be kind of delayed, but it is what it is. And okay, Matthew said, yep, no losses. Jay Carly, I learned a very valuable lesson this morning. Melanie, what's happening? And Melanie, when you come on, let me know how you did this week also in your training. Jay Carly, I learned a very valuable lesson this morning. My computer crashed. I had to wipe it and reinstall everything. So back up your shit because I lost everything. What? But you had it backed up, you're saying? I'm hoping. Yeah, that's happened to me many times. It's crazy. And you're right about backing it up. That's one of the things I like about the Mac is that they got the cloud. You know, you can just get more space as you need it. Akari, what's happening? And Akari, how was training and trading for you this week as well? So for me personally, I took 2 trades this week. Training was awesome every day, as usual. Also, the YouTube lives were really good this week too. Some very relevant topics pertaining to, you know, stuff going on in our world that's going on around us as a result of the pandemic, etc. So yeah, it was just a real good rounded out week. Yeah, so I was able to take 2 trades this week. And I also took 1 trade in my normal size account. So I took 2 trades for the project, the slow and steady project. And then I was also able to take 1 trade in my normal size account. And I think last week I kind of did the same thing last week. I think I had total of 3. But last week I actually took like 2 or 3 trades in my larger account. So, you know, things balance themselves out. Another thing that I wanted to reiterate is, like, you know, week to week, especially depending on how you spread out your time, as you spread time out, the way that your trades, you know, end up coming through, if they do come through on the times when you're on the actual platform, it's like, depending on how much time you're spending observing, you may get more or less trades, but it's like, it kind of don't matter. You understand what I'm saying? Because when it's all said and done, when you just average it all out, let's say that just throughout an extended period of time, if you're averaging one trade each week, you're doing remarkable, because the way that plays out over time, especially when you put yourself in a position that you want to be in, at a certain contract size, you're just doing things and navigating as the market sees fit, instead of you trying to press your number on the market. And this is something that we talk about a lot, but it's worth talking about all the time, because it's always better to never have a number in your head that you press on the market. Allow the market to determine what the number is going to be. Allow your time to determine how much time you're going to spend on the platform. In other words, don't try to force yourself to be on the platform because you think, that you're more eager to take trades. Get on the platform when you feel like getting on the platform, not because you're under pressure to get a trade because you haven't been on the platform as often as you may have wanted to be. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I'm throwing out little things that I do personally to always keep stress away. You always want to have stress far away from your zone. No stress, no pressure. And pressure is a crazy thing, because you can put pressure on yourself in many different ways. What I'm explaining now is one way, where you putting pressure on yourself to be on the platform more because you feel the need or the urge to have a trade. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just don't do that. If you're going to observe and you're going to be on the platform, do it whenever you feel like doing it. Don't do it because you feel like you've missed trades or you're going to miss trades. Does that make sense? So never put self-directed pressure on yourself, because you're the creator of the pressure, no matter what. And you never want to do that. You never want to put, it's almost like artificial pressure. It's like this imaginary pressure that you put on yourself for no reason. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's no need to do it. Just let the market do everything. A couple of weeks ago, I had said something that was crazy to me that has just, it's been sticking in my head ever since. And it was that my plan is that the market creates the plan. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, how people create a plan for themselves. My plan is to do this. When I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? My plan is to actually have no plan, and instead allow the market to create the plan. And it's an interesting dynamic to engage in, because when you elevate to that level of thinking, you really allow the market to do everything. Meaning that I don't want to be on a platform right now. I want to rest, or I want to do this. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to do that. Whatever you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you're doing, you can always train while you're doing it. That's what I do. If I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I'm still training, but I may not be in front of the platform to actually, participate in any training because I'm not observing at the time. And I'll go back to observing when I feel like going back again, and let the market do what it do. So without having a predetermined number or this imaginary pressure that you just start putting on yourself to be around because you feel like, I haven't been around, and that's why I haven't gotten any trades. It may not even be that. It may just be that there were no trades. So I'm what I'm getting at is like, do what you want to do. Don't create pressure for yourself, and let the market determine everything that happens, and just see where that leaves you. Like, just let that happen and see what happens. And I assure you, it's not going to be what you're thinking that it's going to be. You're thinking that it's not going to be as much as it could be, and that's not the case. I would beg to argue it's going to be more than you expecting that it's going to be. because the market just has this thing about it where it just does what it wants to do when it wants to. And when you always put yourself in place and respect the market and let it be, it's generous as hell. It's just generous. It's because you don't have all of these pressures that you applying to yourself. Like, don't put no pressure on yourself to do nothing. Just let it be. Let the market lay out the plan. There's no trades today. No trades today. Market is acting however it's acting. Then out of nowhere, boom. Oh, the market look good right now. You just so happen to be around. Next thing you know, permission slip. Next thing you know, bang. And like, the reason that I'm focusing on this is because this is literally what I did this week. This week I got mad rest. Like, I got a whole bunch of sleep. You know, I spent a lot of time with my kids, my daughter in particular. Spent mad time with her this week. And then still ended up 2 trades for the week. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, just let the market do it. Like, don't you try to do it. You know what to wait for. Allow the market to be the market and do what it does. The market is going to deliver it to you when it feels like delivering it to you. And just let it be. So I wanted to definitely make sure that I stressed that, because that's exactly what I did this week. And when you do that, it works out very well. Jamal said 3-0, mainly focused on live training. The quick glance is powerful. Jamal, you back in the saddle, man. Back in the saddle. Quick glance is quick glance is everything, man. You already know. Shawnee was good. Matthew says somehow when I got to the point of not caring, the market seems to always be on the same page with my plan. Almost like being in sync with the market. Exactly. And I think for the way that you're wired in particular, Matthew, because I know how you do. You actually create a plan, and then your plan just somehow unfolds. It's because discipline allows the execution of the plan that you have to play itself out, because you don't do nothing else until your shit comes. And that's the importance of having discipline. That's why the development of discipline and patience are at the forefront of everything. That's all I talk about. Because when you, as an individual, get to the point where your patience and discipline levels are high, it's like now you're ready for execution. So the scale is funny, because people think that the more that they know about the framework, the closer that they get to being able to execute the way that they're supposed to execute. That's not what it is. The higher that your patience and discipline gets, the closer that you get to the execution that we're talking about. The framework is always there. You see what I'm saying? The framework elevates as your patience and discipline elevates. It's not the other way around. You thinking that you know more about the framework. You're actually increasing your patience and discipline. So now the framework naturally elevates. You see what I'm saying? The framework is what it is. It's very simple to do. The problem is always, well, damn, am I deviating from it somehow? Am I thirsty? Am I, too impatient? Am I hesitant? Am I afraid? You see how you dealing with all of your shit. So the more that you deal with your own personal shit and you elevate and work on that part first, the more clear and well-defined the execution of the framework becomes, because there's nothing interfering with the execution of the framework. You're learning the framework continuously in perpetuity. When you observe the market, you're learning how to understand the framework from a better perspective, because the market is bringing you along. It's like, look at all the shit I be doing. You see all this shit? This ain't it. It look close, right? It look good, but that ain't it, bro. Keep going. Nope, still not there. You're looking at the market do this, and you're like, oh shit, wow. I saw all of that shit. That wasn't it. That's you applying the framework. Now, when your patience and discipline starts to increase, it's game over now. Because now it means that when you see all the shit the market does, guess what you do now? Now you wait. See, when you haven't developed patience yet, you don't wait. You jump. When you thirsty and you have the urge and it looks close, you jump in. Your patience is not there yet. You see what I'm saying? This is why if you work on your mindset first, without trying to even understand the framework, just listen to 301 and repeat. It's going to raise your vibration within your patience and discipline. And as that happens, your understanding of the framework comes along with it. It just does. And not only the understanding of it, the execution of it now. Because now you have patience and discipline and you'll do it. You see what I'm saying? Instead of trying to learn the framework and you're not doing it though. You know it, but you're not doing it. Think about that. How many people know the framework? Everybody, right? Everybody knows it. That's not the question though. The question is, are you going to do it? That's your mindset. That's over here. That's why when you focus on that part happens. And it becomes second nature. You created the right habits so that you can execute what you're being trained to do. What you're being trained to do is absolute. It don't change, and there's nothing in between about it. It's solid. But that's not the question. The question is, are you going to do it? All the way through, 100%. The question, the answer to that question is going to be no until you elevate your mindset. Your patience and discipline has to rise. And until it does, you won't do this. You think that you're doing it, but you're not. That's hard. This shit is hard. Shawnee said, happy Saturday, TA. Another crispy week, 2-0. Come on with it. He said, my personal upgrade last 2 weeks is I have been observing the market while listening to 301 at the same time. That sound familiar? This tactic has been a key improvement for me personally. Self-awareness. That's hard. David, what's happening? David said he's still 0-0 since October. David, how has training been for you? And actually elaborate on that a little bit. You said that you 0-0 since October. Talk about that a little bit when you get a moment. Like, I want to hear you dig into that because I know that there's nuggets in there. Jay Carly said the more that you trust you've trained correctly, the more you can trust your confidence and execution. Right. Exactly. And that's why when you train and it's undeniable training, meaning that you really just train, not, oh, yeah, I train when I get a chance to. You can't, like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it when you get a chance to do it. You want to create the habit of doing it. If you create the habit of doing it, you'll actually do it at some point without thinking about doing it. This is what I mean about first nature. It's just like anything. When it becomes habitual for you, now you don't have to think about doing it. That's what you want training to be for you. Before you try to understand the framework, before you try to start observing the market, you need to create the habit of training. 301 on repeat has to be habitual, because that's the key to turning the switch where it becomes automatic. And it's that nature and that behavior that is going to produce the same thing when you actually shift into trading. And even before you start trading, let's go back a little bit. Before you even get to that point, when you create the habit of training, it turns into the habit of observation. You actually start, when you look at the market, you're looking at the market the way that you're being trained to look. You see what I'm saying? 301 teaches you how to observe. You're thinking 301 is teaching you how to trade. No. like this is really being broken down now. Lamont, what's happening? It's really being broken down now. 301 is teaching you to train properly, which ultimately is teaching you and positioning you to observe the market the right way. Now, as 301 keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, you keep hearing certain things and it's starting to get into you. You keep hearing patience, discipline, patience, discipline. Well, why you want to be patient? You got to be patient to wait for the market. Why do I need discipline though? Why? So that you don't do no dumb shit while you waiting. Listen to what I'm saying. You're not doing dumb shit because you're not doing anything. You're observing. It's like this is the structure of it. Training, 301 on repeat, it automatically transcends into your observation. So now your observation is the same way that you train. You train on repeat. Now when you observe, you will observe the market the same way each time. It'll be based on what you're being trained to do in the market. The framework is here in 301, but so is patience and discipline. You see what I'm saying? The mindset and the framework are here in 301. It's one thing. That's one protocol that we follow. It's not separate. No part of this is separate. You can't have the framework without patience and discipline. They are built into the framework. So now when you set that as a habit, it transcends into the next phase, which is observation. Now, when you look at the market, you're learning how to do the quick glance. Mind you, quick glance ain't even mentioned in 301. But you still learn how to do it because the quick glance simplifies 301. It's quick. It's observation. And it's repetitive. It's the same observation. The same way that 301 is the same repetition that it's just press play, press play, press play. You're not doing anything different with 301. All you're doing is press and play over and over again. So now when you get here in observation, your observation is going to be the same observation each time. And there's only one observation that we do. You see what I'm saying? So now you go from training to observation, and they are automatic. The same way that training is now a habit for you, so is observation. You are habitually now observing the same way every time, which means there's no room for deviation. Think about it. So now when you observe, your observation will ultimately lead into trading, but it's only going to be when the market delivers the trade. This is why now when I'm talking about protocol elevation, it's an elevated state of doing the same thing we've been doing the whole time. So now instead of you jumping into the last phase trying to get into a trade, all you're doing is remaining in the first two phases, and then the third phase appears. How does it appear? The market makes it appear. And if the market doesn't make it appear, it won't. And your observation is going to allow you to see when the market shows it to you. You see what I'm saying? Why are they pulling over here? I hate when the cops be right next to me. But anyway, but this is hardcore right here. So this is like an elevated level of understanding the same thing that we've been doing the whole time. And that's why what I'm focusing on with the protocol elevation is really just enhancing what we do already, and is giving it more intensity at the core. Like, just think about everything that we do now. I'm not giving attention to phase 3 at all. But you're still going to do it. Phase 3 is a part of the process. It's a part of the protocol. So it's not like it's not possible to do it just because we're not focusing on it. We're not going to focus on it because we're focusing on the prerequisite of what we need in order for it to actually be delivered by the market. Phase 3 is unfolded by the market. Instead of you hopping on, observing, trying to get it, trying to find it. You're not trying to find a trade. You're training, automatic, observation, automatic. When the market delivers it to you, the market unfolds phase 3 for you. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how you're never going to lose, because you're always going to be repeating the same process, which is the right process, because you develop the right habit from the very beginning. And that's where training comes in. That's why I know if somebody will fuck up if they're not training. That's the first question I asked you. How many times did you watch 301? Right? That's how I know. It's only a matter of time. So it's so simple and it's so awesome. Jay Carly got kicked off. I thought I did, but maybe, well, I'll say it again. So Jay Carly said she's 4-0 this week. I thought you said you was 3-0. All right, so cool. So Jay Carly 4-0 for the week, 12-0 for Project 21. Jamal said lack of self-awareness will cause people not to do this. They are unaware of themselves. It is you. Deal with you. Yep. Jay Carly said, I have a confession. I got rocked when host asked me why I wasn't full-time yet if I'm such a skilled trader. Oh, this was on the training last week. Well, this week, actually. She said, and then I remembered who the fuck I am and rocked my skill this week. So don't worry about where you are. Focus on the process to get where you're going. That's hard. And it's crazy because that literally is exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. Shawnee said, observation should never be stressful. This is a labor of love. Few things in life give a person the ability to gauge personal performance and personal development on a day-to-day basis more than TA. Let me read that again. Few things in life give a person the ability to gauge personal performance and personal development on a day-to-day basis more than TA. This is a performance-based business. Woo. That's hard. Wow. That's hard right there, Shawnee. Matthew said, observing with the intent to deviate will bring your skill to a complete halt. I've witnessed it over the time I've been with the team. Those students have the toughest time. Yes. Yes. And I'll say again, what's at the root core of that is the absence of the repetition of training. I guarantee you, anytime that you hear about somebody doing that, where they start observing and they trying to get into a trade, they are, if you just listen to how they talk, they be focused on phase 3, right? And they are not training on repeat. What they've done, they might have taken notes and wrote down what their impression of the protocol is, right? And they're trying to do what their impression of it is. And they're actually taking it and they're forcing it on the market. Even when they talk about observation, they're like, oh, that one right there, oh, it had a back tick, or it, it had 5, damn, it didn't give up the +1. And it's like, I understand all of that. But as you train, and if you actually start to do some of the, if you start to implement the stuff that I'm talking about now, as far as like what I focus on now with protocol elevation, you'll find your conversation is different. You will talk less and less about that. Like I'm not even gonna hear you say anything about a back tick or anything about the distance. I'll hear you talk less and less about that. I'll hear you start to talk about how the binary looked. You'll start saying stuff like, man, it's not stable yet, but it's kind of getting there. You ain't even talking about it from the trade perspective. You're talking about it from the market perspective. That one was the next, but it was close. Or things are slowing down, but it still got Weeble in it. Things are starting to range. This is how you're going to start talking. It's starting to range. Versus, I wonder if that one was valid. You see how it's different. And this is what I picked up on just over time, that I see that people jump into phase 3, and that's why they talk like that, and that's where their focus and energy goes. Your energy is going into what your perception and your impression of the protocol is. You think everything is phase 3. You are bypassing the core. And this is why everything that I focus on is reversing that thought process. So now, instead of you thinking in those terms, if I keep drilling and drilling and drilling and drilling, eventually you're going to realize, oh shit, I was doing it wrong the whole time. I'm over here focusing on, you see what I'm saying? Then it hits you and it's like, oh shit, now I will understand why he keeps talking about range. I understand why he's talking about how the timing of the behavior. It starts to click. Then your conversation starts to change. Then your habits start to change. Now, instead of you just watching 301 a few times, taking your notes, and then trying to go observe the market, you are 301 on repeat now. And the next thing you know, your whole dialogue and your whole conversation, your diction and everything changes. You don't talk the same way no more. You literally are reinventing yourself into who you are going to become. I'm telling you, man, this shit gets deep. I literally have broken it all down just from observing people. Yeah, she definitely pulled the Queen Latifah. Yep, she pulled the UNITY. She said, or a Cleo, because I set it off. Observation with no distractions is what I realized I needed to do. I be getting distracted way too easily. And then you see what happens when you don't get distracted. You actually go to work. Now, mind you, see, that's an example of what I was saying earlier about not trying to force yourself to do it. Like if you just sit down and then don't get distracted, what you have been trained to do comes out. You see what I'm saying? You execute what you are trained to do. And that starts from 301 over P. You see what Jay Carly's doing now. Let me use her as the example. When you see her in the group chat, she posts a number all like throughout the day. You know what that number is? It's a 1-digit number. Some of you may not know what the number is. The number is the amount of times that she's watched 301. She's not talking about nothing else. She ain't talking about nothing else. So just like pay attention. Like this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. When you look at what somebody does and then you see what their results are. Starts to make sense. Things start lining up. Jamal said, if you have stress doing this, you have not developed love for the process. Love is patient. I agree. Yes, it is. Jay Carter said, the market range is much, much more than I ever realized. There were many times where there were opportunities in smaller ranges. I forced myself to work, not to trade. Y'all got to catch that. Lord. Rich, what's up? Rich said, want to know this week? Lamar, you had a question? Rich said, with very little chart time this week, my training has allowed me to have family time and still be in position to receive a trade. He said, phase 3 should not be bypassing phase work. He said, the subconscious becomes the conscious. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah, this is excellent stuff, man. Akari, how'd you do this week? Wait, did I miss a comment? Oh, okay, there he goes. He says, the focus is on in the money. If so, you can buy it, sell right. If so, you can buy it, sell right. Candle stays above the strike, only allows you to buy for a profit. Okay, I'm assuming you're asking what is the definition of in the money? Like what it means? You said candle stays above the strike, only allows you to buy for a profit. The terminology in the money means, yes, if you bought, you would be anticipating that the price is going to remain above your strike price. Yes. And if it does, then yes, you would win the trade. So I'm assuming that that's what you were asking. And if so, that's what the answer is. And Lamont, you're in training. So what have you been doing? Let me just ask you while I have you on here. Like what do you do every day as far as training goes? And I know that there's a little delay on here, so when you get a moment, just respond to that question. Because with you being like newer, it's just certain things that you need to do out the gate that through the repetition of the training helps you to understand what's actually happening and what's going on. Like literally 301 is so concise. I believe if somebody didn't even know what NADEX was, just from watching that training over time, they'll understand everything. And they'll only understand the things that they need to know about the platform in order to be productive and to ultimately learn how to win trades when the time comes. Yo, it's straight snowing out here. What the hell is going on? I believe that 301 is that concise, that somebody don't even understand how to navigate the NADEX platform can look at that training and figure it out. I like that. JT, what up? J. Carly said, ITM is I trust Mark. Oh, shit. I must say, it's definitely not going to lead you down the wrong path. I guarantee you that much. If you just so happen to do it. I thought I saw Mo over here in one of these watch parties. Mo, if you still on, what's happening, man? And how was training for you this week? Rich said that's the articulation part you're talking about. You will get to once you train the right way. Yes. Correct. Akari said limited chart time due to work, just training and still elevating as usual. Got another light bulb from observing the market behavior this week. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, man. Lamont said, I watch 301 now and then take notes. I'm not like everyone else. I need to take notes. Then I turn on NADEX demo to view or study movement of the market. So I two questions. How many times have you watched 301? And how many times do you watch 301 every day? And give me honest answers. Jelani's in the building. Jelani said the second or the third video in the education series playlist explains what in the money is. Lamont, that might help you out. Very good. Very good. Jelani's on it. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that video is actually excellent, I must say, because it's very detailed. Rich said bind of is a reeve the same, but the rules are. Rich, you got some typos there. I don't know what you was trying to say. Something about but the rules are. Oh, excuse me. Mo said chilling 301 all week. No trades yet, but observing the market also. Excellent. Excellent. Right where you need to be. Yes. Matthew said the definition of in the money has no bearing on how you need to execute. Correct. Lamont, this is only my 5th time watching it. Sometimes I need to split 301 over 2 days. It's so funny. See, this is how awesome the vibration is, because the stuff I was talking about specifically today is actually describing what you're doing. And you just so happen to be here right now. This particular recap, it'll be very valuable for you to replay this, because I was saying specific things about how to train. And what I described is actually what you're describing, that you're doing, that I'm actually warning you to not do. Because, and let me go back, because you said something else that was interesting too, to confirm what I'm about to say. You said I watch 301 now and then take notes. Literally, what I said a little while ago, I said if what you do is watch 301 and take notes, and then you try to take your impression of what you're thinking that the protocol is, and then you try to observe the market and listen to what you said. You said, then I turn on NADEX demo to view or study the movement. Like, this is not an accident that I happen to be talking specifically about what you just described that you do. And I'm telling you not to do that. And I understand, because the first thing that you're going to say is, oh, well, you know, I'm like that. I'm wired that way. You know, that's how I learn. And I understand that. I understand. So the reason that I'm going to say it again is because I actually have your attention now, so that you can't miss it. So I'm going to say it specifically again to you. When you watch 301, I understand that you want to take notes. Yo, it's straight snowing. What the hell? Shit is crazy. Anyway, I understand that you watch 301 and you take notes, and that's cool. What I'm telling you not to do, and you said that you watched it 5 times in total, you need to be watching that training every day. So I'm not saying that what you're doing as far as taking notes is bad. I am saying if all you do is take notes and then try to take your notes and then apply that when you observe the market, you will deviate. Because you're taking the last phase of the protocol and you're trying to apply that when you observe the market. And that's how you're going to mess up. Now you might mess up. That'll be the reason that you mess up. So don't do that. You have to have 301 as your habit. 301 played every day has to be the first habit that you create. Instead of just taking your notebook and then looking at the market. Because you just said that it took you 2 days to watch 301. You had to split it over 2 days. So you literally are describing the exact behavior that's going to lead to you deviating and messing up. So that's why this is like this right here, what we're doing right now, this is going to build you. Like I'm not telling you these things to discourage you at all. I'm telling you these things so that I can push you in the right direction, away from where I know that you're headed by doing it the way that you just described. If you do it that way, you will deviate and you will lose. Even though you're not thinking that that's going to happen, but it is going to happen because you're not understanding the foundation of what 301 is actually teaching you. So I encourage you to just 301 on repeat. You want to have your notes? That's cool. You can have your notes and make your adjustments, or, you know, however you like to work, that's fine. But you're going to have 301 on repeat. That's not optional. You have to do that. If you want to actually acquire the skill set, you're going to have to do that, period. Rich said, none of us are the same, but the instructions are the same for us all. Y'all should also be listening while you sleep. That's 2 uninterrupted listens for sure. Yep. Rich said, what we're doing here is rewiring our minds. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so Lamar, you're going to be fine, man. You're going to be fine. Don't even worry about it. David said, it's been good. I listen to training every day, especially 301 and 578. But after my last loss, I decided to chill out and just keep on training, which has kept me out of trouble with the market. But the downside is, since I've been going a lot for a long time now, I've just been unfocused and stressed, and that's what is making me not see the opportunity when it presents itself. So in other words, I just got to keep working on myself. Yes. And that right there is self-awareness, which is imperative. You have to know what you're actually doing as it pertains to yourself, because what you just pointed out, David, is you actually broke down what you're doing wrong, and then you had the solution built in, and you said the solution first. You just said, listen, I listen to training every day, 301. That's the first thing you said. So you've already gotten the solution to the issues. You see what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time. 301 is going to always recalibrate you and put you on track. And I believe that for the majority of people, you may not have created the 301 habit in the beginning, and then you started doing shit. You see what I'm saying? When you create the 301 habit from the very beginning, you don't do other shit, because your first nature is becoming the training part. The training part is going to reinforce the same thing that you're supposed to do. It's not going to reinforce the shortcuts that you're trying to take. And we all have done that. Like, it's easy to take shortcuts. It's easy to try to make it simpler based on how you're currently wired, right? It's like people take how they are right now and they try to pull bits and pieces from what we do to conform to how they are now, when the training is not designed to do that. This training is not that. This training is recreating who you are. It's rewiring you, just like Rich said a moment ago. It's rewiring you, because you can't execute in the market with consistency as the person that you are right now. Right now, you don't have the patience and the discipline that you need. 301 is wiring you to become that person that does. The shit goes deep, man. Mo said, I have 301 on repeat on 3 devices. 301 is with me everywhere I go. Come on, Mo. Listen, man. Jay Carly, my number 7301 for today is on pause right now. Jay Carly, you keeping up hard, I see. Goodness. She said, I took notes in 2017, threw them away because they were my interpretation of what I heard. Woo. Not what was there. Whoa. Elevation. That's a lot of elevation. It takes a lot to get to that point. Yeah, it was snow first, then it turned into hail. Now the sun is out. Like, yo, this New York weather's retarded, man. The sun just came back out. He said, coronavirus got your clouds sick. Jay Carly said, if you keep yourself close to the fire, you'll stay warm. Yes. She said, if you say Mark and the people around you say Mark who, get rid of those people and train more. She said her grandmother asked her how Mark doing. Oh shit. That's funny. Walker, what up, man? Walker, how'd you do this week? I know that you actually did very well, actually, but I want to, of course, hear from you. In your trading and also in training. Eduardo, what's going on? Walker said 301 habit literally molds you into a more time productive and efficient person. Had to wipe the overcomplicated slate clean to realize that for myself. Rich said 301 is what completes the circuit, so you are current and in sync with the market. 301 nuggets. Walker, that's a deep one. He said it molds you into a more time productive and efficient person. Had to wipe the overcomplicated slate clean to realize that for myself. It's so many, it's so crazy how there's so many different ways that it can go. Some people will lean into overcomplicating it. Some people will lean into oversimplifying it. Some people will lean into bypassing it. When you literally just do 301 or repeat, you don't lean into nothing. You just allow it to be what it is. You allow it to do its work. The work that 301 is going to do is literally rewiring you. So you have to understand that there's a process involved with that. It means that because you're being rewired completely, who you are right now is literally being broken down and broken up. It's better for 301 to break you up than for the market to break you up. 301 breaks you up to rebuild you. The market just breaks you up and leaves you there. It's just a mirror. Yo, remember this, what I'm saying right now. The market will break you up and leave you there. It's just a mirror. 301 breaks you up to rebuild you. Walker said back on track with both 25 301s for the week. That's hard. 2-0 for both accounts this week, focusing solely on tight range stability. Excellent. I watched 301 58 times this week. And I know that because I counted before I started. 58 for the week. So this is from last Saturday. Awesomeness, man. This is awesome. So David, again, man, you good to go. I really appreciate, how you shared that. And another thing too about just the way that we move. Remember that as you navigate, some people, they go through the whole experience of having to actually lose in the market first. And it's just the way some of us are built. Some of us, you got to get slapped a couple of times before you actually come to your senses and realize that going that route and taking that path is not going to work. You're going to keep doing that until you interrupt that. Some of us will do that. And you got to understand that when you make the decision to create the habit of training, the game's over at that moment. Understand what I'm saying. This is the answer to everything. This is TA in a nutshell. 301 as your habit is going to do it all. Don't try to do nothing. I said this week on training. When you listen and watch 301, don't even do nothing. Don't try to understand. Jay Carly made a point where she said she threw her notes in the garbage. Did you hear that? She threw her notes out. And Lamont, again, I'm bringing this up because we just talked about this, how you taking your notes and doing, how you doing. And remember that everything has its place at the time. So that's a part of how you moving right now. But understand, 301 is rewiring you. You're going to get to the point where you don't have to do that anymore. Because it's recreating you. You can't go where you're going as the person that you are right now. It's just not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? If that was the case, you would have been there already. You can't go there as the person you are now. This shit is heavy today. 301 is the cleanup team. Yes, it is. 301 is the loophole. Bad. Matthew said notes are an ingredient of complication. Woof. Shots all over the place. Oh man, all right. That's all I've got to say about that. I thought I saw Ramon come on here. Ramon, did you make it? I don't know if he came and left. He might have left. Rich said, when every question you had has been answered, 301 is doing its work. Yes, it is. He said, now it's up to you to work 301. Ramon said, just got here. No trading this week. 7-0 so far for Project 21. Excellent. And this week you also found out that you're having a girl. So more awesomeness. Lamont said, yes, I understand that process. I've been doing electrical for 22 years, and it's the same concept. These lives and training videos are exclusive only for paid members, asking because if I wanted to tell someone else about this. The recaps and the lives are public. The training videos, no, that's for just us. So if you want to share with somebody, just either send them like to the YouTube channel or on Facebook, or even, matter of fact, TeamAlliance.tv is just a website you can remember off the top of your head. Or just tell them to go to Team Alliance and Google it. Just Google Team Alliance. So they'll find it. But TeamAlliance.tv is the actual website if you want to send somebody to some more information. Jay Carly said, don't take notes so that you have something to refer to. Make sure you train enough so the understanding is inherent. This is good. This was good today. This is nice and juicy. Good stuff, man. Y'all gonna see. Watch. We like even this week. Another thing that stood out to me this week in on one of the lives was talking about money and talking about how when you kind of first start out doing something, you got all of these, you know, different ideas about like, you know, what type of income level that you want to be at, and then it's like when you actually just put yourself in position to achieve it, and then you achieve it, it's not it's not so big and so important, and like your emphasis is not on it as much now. It becomes normal. Like it almost becomes irrelevant a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff you used to put all this emphasis on now is regular. This is what happens. This is what is going to happen to you. It's 301. I'm telling you, 301 is going to literally recreate who you are. It's going to turn you into the person that's going to be able to go where we're going. And then by the time you get there, it's normal. Listen to what I'm saying, man. When you get there, it's normal. It's crazy. And yeah, Lamar, same process. Yes. Yep. Yes, excellence, excellence, excellence. All right, y'all. Another awesome recap, man. Another awesome recap. So Lamont, make sure again that you watch the replay of this again, because I want you to hear that again. Everything that was said today. Definitely want to feed yourself that again. And it's just 301 on repeat, man. That's it. That's it. Yep. So I will see you guys in training tomorrow. And everybody else out there in cyberspace, I'll see y'all on Monday. Because I tell them to Google it. Yep, Google will find us. All right, y'all, I'm out.